Welcome to Introduction to Indian History, and today we are going to talk about the mature Harappan phase. So, whenever we talk about the Harappan civilization, we have in mind the beautifully crafted seals and artifacts. And the most important thing which we associate with the Harappan civilization are the well planned cities. So, these advancements which we talk about whenever we talk about the Harappan civilization were the product of the mature Harappan phase. So, historians, when they talk about the Harappan culture, they divide the Harappan culture into three phases. So, the first phase is the early Harappan phase. This was the phase when the Harappan culture was in its infancy, and it can also be said that this was the formative phase of the Harappan civilization. The early Harappan phase began around 3200 BCE and it lasted around 2600 BCE. Then comes the mature Harappan phase. It was in this phase we find that the urbanization has reached its peak and the trade and commerce was flourishing. We can say that the process which began during the early Harappan phase matured in this phase. Thus, it is called the mature Harappan phase. This mature Harappan phase starts around 2600 BCE and it lasts up to 1900 BCE. Now, from 1900 BCE, the period which we talk about is the period which we call the late Harappan phase. This was the phase of decline. And around 1300, we see that the Harappan culture has died out. So, when we combine these three phases of the Harappan culture, we are nearly talking about 2000 years. And most of the time, we do not appreciate how long the Harappan culture lasted. Another important point about the Indus Valley civilization is that of the four ancient civilizations, first of all, these four ancient civilizations were the Mesopotamian civilization, the Egyptian civilization, the Chinese civilization, and the Indus civilization. Of these four civilizations, it is the Indus Valley civilization which has the largest geographical extent. So, whenever we talk about the Indus Valley civilization, we have to keep in mind that the geographical extent of civilization is huge. To give you an idea, the easternmost site which we have discovered until now is in the western UP. And the site is called Alamgirpur. And the westernmost site of the Indus Valley civilization is in eastern Afghanistan. And the site is called Shortughai. And the northernmost site which we know until now is in Jammu, and the site name is Mandu. And the southern part of the Indus civilization extend up to the northern Maharashtra. So you can see how large the Indus civilization was. When we talk about the Harappan phase, an important observation has been made by historian A.L. Bhasham. And in his observation, he has pointed out that when we look at certain aspects of Harappan culture, we see that there is a certain reluctance to change. And A.L. Bhasham calls this reluctance to change the conservatism of Harappan people. So what is this conservatism he is talking about? So in his analysis of the Indus Valley civilization, he points out to the Harappan script. In the span of Harappan civilization, the Harappan script has remained same. This is also true of the house design. Even these are not changed. This conservatism or this unwillingness to change is even more perplexing when we look at the fact that the Harappans were in contact with the Mesopotamian people. Some of the advanced technologies which the Mesopotamian people had could have been easily borrowed by the Harappan people, but we do not see that. So what was the reason behind this conservatism or this unwillingness to change? Stuart Pigott, who was a British archaeologist, argues that the reason behind this conservatism of Harappan people is the nature of Harappan state. In his analysis, he points out that since Harappan state was a theocratic one, it is unwilling to change itself. His argument rests on the assumption that a theocratic state is much more conservative and unwilling to change itself compared to a secular state. A.L. Bhasham, on the other hand, argues that this conservatism was due to the fact that the Harappan government was a stable government and it did not experience any substantial change. Now let's talk about certain features of the mature Harappan period. So whenever we talk about the mature Harappan period, there is an assumption that most of the Harappan settlement were urban. That is absolutely wrong, because most of the Harappan settlement were not urban, they were rural. And these rural settlement provided the raw material for craft industry which were situated in the cities. They also provided food and they were also source of labor. So we can say that most of the settlement in the Harappan civilization was not urban but rural. There is also a misconception that all Harappan cities follow a grid pattern. That is absolutely wrong, because even if we look at Mohenjo-daro, which was discovered 1 century earlier, even here we can see that Mohenjo-daro did not follow a strict grid pattern. But that doesn't mean that the Harappan cities weren't planned. They were. And one of the most important point about the planning of the Harappan cities is that the planning of a city is not related with the size of the city. That is, if we look at Lothal, it is much more organized than compared to a large city like Kalibangan. So we can say that the size of a city has nothing to do with the way it is planned. On the question of who were the Harappan peoples, what type of religion they followed, and what was the nature of the Harappan state, these are answers which we are not sure of. And there are various theories which scholars have put forward, but because the Harappan script has not been deciphered, we are not sure about that. In a later video, I will discuss about these topics, but today I'm not going to discuss these topics because they are lengthy topics and they require their own videos. Now, coming back to the mature Harappan phase, as I have already said, this was the period during which the trade also flourished. Much has been made about the trade between the Harappan civilization and the Mesopotamian civilization, but most of the scholars agree now that the trade between the Harappan people and the Mesopotamian people was not that substantial. Now, when we talk about the internal trade of the Harappan civilization, it is much more interesting, because some scholars argue that the gold which was used by the Harappan people came from the Neolithic people of the Karnataka area who mined this gold from the Kolar region. The copper which was used by the Harappan people came from the Khetri deposit in Rajasthan. So we can see that the Harappan culture traded with other cultures in the Indian subcontinent. One last point which I want to make about the mature Harappan phase is that we do not still know enough about the mature Harappan phase, and this shows from the discovery of sites like Rakhigadi. The evidences which has come from Rakhigadi and other sites shows that the knowledge which we have of the mature Harappan phase is still not sufficient. Much is needed, and with new discoveries, our understanding of the mature Harappan phase will also increase. In the next video, we are going to see what are the various theories which various scholars have put forward to explain the decline of the Harappan civilization.